Yeah, if anything, today I would actually just want to focus on how to set up your eLEAPs one time only. So it's actually just taking one time, maybe just 1 week to set up a very good eLEAP. And then after that, you can use that eLEAP that you set up this one time as a template for your other eLEAPs. So this will make it easier for you to achieve your blended learning status and also save time in the future. So it's just taking the time to sit down and just set up. So if you are a new lecturer or you find it challenging to actually achieve the blended learning, hopefully this can help you a lot. Yeah, okay. So I think Mr. Ame has already given a very comprehensive and summary of what it takes to achieve the BL criteria or the status. But just to put it in visual, this is actually what we need. These four criteria. Okay. Number one is your course information. So usually it's course outline, course plan. If you have a weekly schedule, it's good to put in there as well. And then say 7 resources, just like Mr. Ame has said. So this can be slides, PowerPoint slides also I think dikira. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Ame. But yeah, slides is also dikira. So if you have 10 learning units and you have 10 slides, you just upload it. You're technically already covered this criteria. You don't have to worry about it. It's out of your hair already. And then you have 3 activities. Yeah, this can be eLEAP Forum, it can be Padlet or any other teaching and learning tools that you put into your eLEAPS page. The key to this though is that it has to have at least 50% of your total enrolled students to be participative in it. Sorry. So for example, if you have 50 students, you need at least 25. So for me, I make it easy. I just say that if you do this activity, that is your attendance for that week. So automatically all of them will do it. So if you make it something that's compulsory or mandatory, technically they all do it and then you don't have to worry about it anymore. And then the last one is 2 assessments, which I think they shouldn't be much of an issue because technically we have 4 or 5 assessment in one semester. So even if you want them to submit a link, contohnya the assignment that you give them a file dia terlampau besar, eLEAP tu ada limit. What you can do is you can just set it to text and then they can just submit the link. So technically they're just submitting something through eLEAPs. So you're hitting this criteria as well. So in order to do this though, it will be easier if you set up a very good eLEAP page. Yeah, this will make it easier for you to track. It will make sure it's easier for you to actually just check which one are you missing out on, which one you need to add, or which one that you need to remove. Contohnya, too much is also a bad thing. Yeah, so I understand that we are very busy creatures. Yeah, the semester break wasn't enough for all of us, and I bet all of us are feeling the stress, and then we are very hectic, especially in this semester. In week 1, semua the vetting papers are coming up soon. We have course plan, course file, masih lagi belum siap kan. So I do understand, but if you take the time to set up your eLEAP page, I feel like it will save you a lot of time in the long run. So a poorly set up course page in eLEAP will make it frustrating for both you and your students to use. You'll find, I always see lecturers scrolling down, always looking for this particular assignment, always looking for this particular brief. So if you set up a very good eLEAP page, it will be easier for you to manage in the future. So hopefully today, what I'm going to share is going to help some of you, yeah? Okay. So the objective for me, whenever I set up my eLEAPs page, is very simple. Number 1, the keyword is easier. It has to be easy to navigate for both the lecturer and the student. So for both yourself and the student, it must be easy for me to track my students' progress and submission. I don't have to hunt for the submission, or they don't have to hunt for the submission link and end up emailing you in the email, and then you have to track back, oh, this is for which class, this is for which student. That's a lot of hassle. So if you can make it easy for them to submit, make it easy for you to track, it will be easier for you as well. And then it's easy to update the course content and learning units. This one will take a bit of teaching and learning tools. I use Canva. I think Mr. Yao will share more on teaching learning tools later on. But today I'll just cover a bit of Canva. Yeah. And then like I said just now, it's just one time setup. So if you can spend the time, just sit down and just set it up, take your time. And then in the future, all you have to do is just copy the same template and then you're good to go. And then the most important thing is also, it also achieves the blended learning status. So if you can set up everything, you don't have to worry about that part as well. So hopefully we can achieve this semester, this coming semester. So for me, my mantra when I set up my eLEAP page is KISS, which is keep it simple and significant. Yeah. So the simpler it is, and the more significant that the information that you put in, the better. All additional information, contohnya, if you want to do an activity after class, or if you want to notify any student that has nothing to do with the learning units, I do suggest that you contact your student outside of eLEAP. So contohnya your WhatsApp page. So don't overcrowd your eLEAP page with unnecessary information. Keep it very simple, keep it very minimal, and keep all the information, the important one only. Jangan letak yang lebih-lebih. Okay? This will make it easier for you. So how do I apply this mantra to my eLEAP page or my teaching and learning setup? So firstly, your eLEAP page, it has to be organized, yeah. And the biggest tip I can give you is that you have to arrange your content by relevant elements, by groups, not by weekly, okay? And I'll show you an example later on. I'll talk more about it later, yeah? And I have a pattern where it's predictable. This is where color coding comes into play. Like for example, in my page, if they see the color red, if the text is red, they know it's submission link, yeah? So if you put all of your submission link the color red, it'll be easier for them to track. So have a pattern and be predictable. It will be easier for you and be easier for your student. And like I said, keep it very minimal. Don't add any unnecessary elements or information. And then your teaching learning tools and apps also is the same. We have this idea so far that if we want to make a class engaging, we must use so many teaching and learning tools. So some lecturers might have 5 to 6 learning tool in the eLEAP page. Now what happens is that when there is too much apps, the student will have to download them, the student will have to register or have to, fill in the information. That might take time before class. So what I do suggest new lecturers to do is just keep to 2 simple ones. Like for me, it's Canva and Padlet. You might choose some other teaching and learning tools. But what you can do is that use those simple tools in different ways. So it is actually achieving your CLOs. Yeah. So also, if you do not know, COM has already made a lot of tools in eLEAPs. So you can actually use the eLEAP tools like forum. What else? We have journal, and then we even have chat. So we actually have a lot in there. So you don't need anything from the outside. You don't need to find a different app outside anymore. Just use what eLEAP have, and then just use it in different ways, in more interesting ways. This will make it much easier for you, okay? And then the next one is your assessment and deadlines. Now, this is the tip that you can, sorry, I can hear myself. Sorry, yeah. Okay, so assessment and deadlines, if you can group them all together, it will be very easy for you to download the submissions later on. So I always see lecturers that put the assessment by week. So if week 7 is the deadline, they put it in the week 7 slot, which is fine in week 1, week 2, week 3. But later on, at the end of the semester, when you need to compile everything, you need it for your course file, you find it really hard. You have to scroll down, keep looking. And if you have one course, it's fine. But if you're coordinating more than 3 courses, like some of the animation lecturers are, you might find it a hassle. So I suggest group them all into one section so that it's easier for you to download and it's easier for your student to see. Yeah. And also the most important thing is to display the deadlines clearly. So a lot of students has already spoken out and saying that I don't know when is the deadline, or sometimes we masuk eLEAP terus the link tutup. We cannot submit anymore. So it's not a good practice because it gives a bad impression to the student, first and foremost. And also, secondly, you might get confused as well. Your brief might say a different date, and then when you tutup in eLEAP, you lupa set ke, contohnya, it can tutup on itself or it can close by itself. So that's not a good practice to have. So make sure you just display the deadline clearly so that the student can just refer to your eLEAPs as well. They don't have to message you anyway. Like bila deadline miss or bila deadline sir. So that shouldn't happen anymore. And then the most important one is labeling for BL status. We already know there is 4 criteria: course information, activities, resources, and assessment. So whatever you do in your eLEAPs, make sure you just keep labeling them with these 4 keywords. If you have course plan, put it under course information. If you have activities, just put activity. The more you can put all of these labels, the easier it is for the auditors to actually check your page. Yeah, so it'll make it easier for you to track also which one are you missing, okay? And also, again, like I said, keep it simple and significant. Don't add anything extra. The eLEAP page should be like a reference book where the student go and reference. It should not be like a social media where you keep posting updates. Yeah, this should be just strictly about the course, the learning units, and all of that should be there only. Okay, all right. So next is, like I said just now, my biggest tip is to group your elements in relevant elements by grouping, not by week. Yeah, so not by week 1, week 2, week 3. Timeline is, I mean, it's easier when the semester is conducted, but it's hard to manage at the end of the semester. But if you do it in this way, I feel like it's easier for you to achieve the blended learning status, and also easier for you to keep track of what you're doing. So usually in my eLEAPs, I have 5 to 6 sections. Firstly being course information. So you have your course coordinator, all of your information. It's good to put your contact information there as well, yeah, because especially for first year student, you can put the invite link to the WhatsApp group there, so that they don't have to hunt for your number. They can just click the link and then straight away they go into the WhatsApp group. And then your course outline, course plan as usual, and then your weekly schedule if you do have, which I do suggest that you do. It's easier for students to manage their time. And then link to the online platform. So for example, if you are doing hybrid classes or purely online, you're using MS Teams, you just set one link and then you just link it to your eLEAPs. Senang, they just go to eLEAPs, click on it, and then straight away they go to your class. So senang, everything they need to refer to, they go to your eLEAPs, they don't go to you anymore. So that gives you more time to do the rest of your work, yeah. Second thing is assessment. Like I said, everything should be under this section. Your brief, your rubrics, your recorded briefing videos, even if it's asynchronous. So for example, in class you are briefing, you must always record it, because there are some students who have bad connection issues, and then they'll be like, Miss, I don't understand, or they ask their friends, and then their friends ajaran sesat, salah bagi information, and they end up costing their grade. So we don't want that to happen. So just record everything that you have in class. I understand that some lecturers are reserved about this because they feel like when they're briefing or they do their class, it's only 5 minutes, and after that is independent learning. Don't worry about it. I understand that we don't have all the time in the world to do lectures or to do briefing. It's okay. Even if it's just a 1 minute briefing video, just post it in eLEAPs. It will help the students. And also, like I said, submission links and the deadlines must be set there clearly. For me, I use color coding. Red is the submission link, yeah. And then learning units, everything is in there. So resources, usually your YouTube videos, lecture slides, everything that is related for learning units, put it under learning unit. And then this one, you can do it per learning unit. You can arrange it by week. It is up to you. And then recording. So this one is things that you do asynchronously or synchronously, or any other recording. For example, consultation with a group, and then you can post it in the page so that the group can look back and then they can say, okay, so this was the feedback last week. So it's good to actually keep all your recordings. Do not delete and do not hide them from your student. Yeah. And then activities. So make sure you have your forum, reflection, journals, all under this one section. It will make it easy for the student to check. Okay, this week ada. So, oh, I missed last week, so I have to do it. So if you group them all together, it's easier for them to manage. Because please keep in mind, I know you're coordinating 3 or 4 classes, that is a lot, but the students, sometimes they have 8 classes that they have to go through. So all of them with different eLEAP pages, it is very hard for them to manage. So if you can make it simple for them, it will be much easier for them to, perform well in your class, yeah. And as usual, label it clearly. So if it's activity, letak je. Just put the word activity and then you're safe already, yeah. And then the next thing I would like to talk about is the teaching learning tools. So for me personally, what I like to use is Canva and Padlet. And the reason why is because it is really easy to use. Everybody's familiar. It doesn't require a lot of time to download or to register. And then throughout my classes, all of my classes, I only use these 2 tools. For my learning units like lecture slides, I use Canva. The reason why is because I can embed it in my eLEAPs page, and then say for example in 2 years I need to update information, because in education we always have to update ourselves. So we find new information, we have new things we want to update our student with. What I can do is I can just go to my Canva and then I can just update the information there, and then automatically it updates what's embedded in eLEAPs. So I don't have to download the new one and re-upload it to the new eLEAPs page. No, it's just automatically terus saja update in the eLEAP page. So that saves you so much time, yeah. And then Padlet also is very good, because Padlet is, you can use in various ways. You can ask them to upload videos, sketches, reflections. You can even use it as a chat room or even a diary, no problem. So Padlet is a very flexible and it has a lot of potential. So I just need the Padlet to do everything in many different roles. So you don't need that much things actually. You can even do quiz on Padlet. There's no problem. Yeah. So I think if you just stick to 1 or 2, really good tools. You don't need everything else actually. So don't be intimidated when you see other speakers telling you macam banyak-banyak these tools. No, just find one or two that you really like and do well on it. Yeah. So it's just like a menu. You see the menu, which one you like, or I feel like eating something sweet today, you just eat that. So that's it. So don't be too intimidated and don't feel like this is complicated. Yeah. It will be easier for your students as well because they're only okay. If Miss Natasha class, I know it's Padlet, so it's easier. Yeah. Okay. So when I do all of this, okay, I'm done with all this KISS method or this KISS mantra. I will also ask myself, am I keeping it simple and significant? So I'll go through in the mind of a student. Okay, I'll try to tengok it in the view of a student, and then I'll ask myself, is it simple? Is my page simple enough for the student to use? Is my page simple enough to allow me to track my students' progress, submission, and activities easily? Because that is important as well. And then is it simple enough for the auditors to view and evaluate my page? Yeah. So just ask them. If it's not simple enough and you find yourself struggling, that means you need to simplify a bit more. Yeah. It's either by grouping or whatever method that you have that's appropriate to you or what you like. And then second thing is if I want to add something new, because sometimes we know we do research, we go around, we talk to people. Sometimes we have a lot of information and we want to give the information to the students. So that's a good habit to have, but you have to ask yourself, is it significant enough? So you have to ask whatever information, whatever new thing that you're putting in your eLEAP page, is this information or element significant enough to help my students to achieve the CLO? If it's outside the bounds of the CLO, share them in WhatsApp, share them through YouTube, share with them outside of eLEAP. eLEAP should be very streamlined and very focused. Okay. Second thing is it significant enough to be included in the learning unit? So if it's not in the learning unit, then don't include it. Don't confuse your student because they have a limited time to learn. They don't have all the time in the world. They have other classes to focus as well. So just make sure it's significant enough for the learning unit. And is this element information significant to assist my students in their assessment? So if this is something that can help them in the assessment, like an extra video that they can see so that they know how to submit better perhaps or how to perform better in presentation, then by all means it is significant. So put it in. You can include it. Yeah. So by having this, it has helped me a lot to streamline my Padlet. Now, thank you very much everybody for listening. I know there was a lot of talking. I bet some of you are feeling drowsy. But now I'm going to show you my eLEAP page. I think we still have a bit of time. So let me unshare sekejap, yeah? Okay, so hopefully everybody can see. And do let me know if I'm going a bit too fast. I have a tendency to go very fast, okay? So this is my page that I've set up for my digital media page. Now the thing is I set this up when I was in bila? To 2020? Yeah, I think so, when eLEAP just first got updated. And this is what I did. I just embed everything from Canva. And then if I put a few GIF here and then your eLEAP page looks interesting enough already, and then your student can see. And I like bright colors because it's like color coding. If they see this bright yellow, they know they're in the right class. Okay, Miss Natasha's class, okay, it's yellow. It's a bit like branding theory. Okay, so all of here, in front here, top part is all my course information. Okay, so I have my course plan, course outline, I have my Padlet, I have my WhatsApp group. So they just click here and then terus masuk the WhatsApp group. They have the weekly schedule and then they have the class link. Yeah, so if they click here terus masuk dalam class. So they don't have to worry about looking for a link anymore. Also, pro tip, if you have your WhatsApp group, you know there is a group information there, right? If you click there, you can actually put information. So what I do is I put the class link at the WhatsApp information as well. So that they can just go to their phone and then they just click the link, they terus masuk class. So they have no excuse anymore to look for links, yeah? And then, like I said, I arrange my learning unit or all the elements in grouping, yeah? So I have my assessment, I have my attendance activities, recorded class session, and then all color-coded as well. So red is for assessment, yellow is for things that they need to do or need to see, and then the rest is all learning units. And in all these learning units, there is resources as well. So if you do it this way, it will be easier for the student to manage. It's just like a textbook now, okay? They can just refer to. So the format of my eLEAP is in tile, and later I'll show you how to set it to tiles, because right now by default your eLEAP is in weekly. So you have to scroll down. So sometimes when you're doing the scrolling down, it takes a lot of time, especially if you have YouTube videos or you embed something. Sometimes you get stuck and you have to wait, and then you scroll down, then you stuck, and then you have to wait, and it wastes a lot of time. But if I do it in this format, it's easier for the student to see and for me to to track. So for example, assessment, all I have to do is click and then everything is there. So I put project 1, deadline, okay, and then submission. Semua right now is hidden. Yeah. Okay, so final project semua ada. So now students know, okay, if I need to see a briefing video, I just go here. Project briefing, recorded videos. Okay, I miss Miss Natasha's briefing. So I just go here. And then where do I submit? Here. So I just click there and then I just submit everything. Examples all are in the brief as well. So it's easy for them. So attendance activities, for me, I personally don't use QR code for my class because I find it too easy for students to scan and then just don't remember what you say. You know, just touch and go, like they said. So I like for them to do activities to get their attendance. So every week we will
Sorry,
do.
Natasha.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
How do you do that? I mean the
The
one that
time.
you have the all those in one page tu dia ada semua sekali tu, and then student just click yeah, as you mentioned, dia tak payah nak scroll lagi.
Yeah, faham. Okay, lepas ni I will show.
Okay, thank you very
Yeah,
much.
ada tu. No worries.
I thought I
So,
missed that one.
ah,
Okay.
yeah, this one is fun. I like this one because it's so easy to use. So I'll show you how
Yes,
to set it up.
because of I found out it interesting because of what sometimes kalau put everything in one dealing with the format that they're given topic by topic tu, sometimes student will miss out. So that's why I think this is interesting because apa, if you put for example like assessment in one place, so they
Yes,
just assessment,
tenang,
so from that
tenang.
they will find out whatever assessment they have to do lah kan.
Yes.
Tapi kalau put in topic, sometimes they miss the topic tu.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Later on tak apa.
Okay, no worries. I'll show later on sekejap. So like again, activities I like to use. So multiple ways. I have forum. So for this class ada form, Microsoft form a bit, and most of them are just forum. So they just have, this is mostly drawing class and digital class. So they just submit what they do with me in class, and then that's it. That is their attendance for that week. So technically they have to do the exercise to get their attendance. So the only hassle about this is that I have to input their attendance manually. So you have a class of 100 or 200 students, then unfortunately I don't think this is the best practice for you. But for me it's only 30 students, so it's quite okay. It's quite manageable. Yeah. So this is preference. You can put QR code here pun tak apa juga, no problem. Okay. And then I have my recorded class session. So I will always record all of my classes, regardless whether it's synchronous, asynchronous, or even voice chat kadang-kadang. And everything I will just put it up here again. So when a student say, Miss, sometimes they do message, Miss, I have bad connection. I'll say, it's okay. You don't have to join the class. Don't have to force your internet connection. But I've already posted the recording. So all you have to do is just click here and then the window will pop out and then straight away you can see the video here. Yeah, and then they can just go out again and then find what else they need. So for example, I've covered introduction to digital design. I have my slides. Okay, this is an old slide, so it's not embedded. Yeah, so this one is by Pon Mai last time. So I just put it here so they can just view. Once they're finished with that, they can click another one and then they can see video. Yeah, so this is all supplementary information. So I will always ask myself, is it simple enough to use? And is the information that I put in, is it significant for the course? So for example, here they can just scroll down. So when you have this format, the loading time is not as long as what it is now. Like right now, if you do it in weekly, memang lama tunggu load. So I do suggest if you are struggling with that to manage, keep this format. Okay. So if we still have a bit of time, I will share on how to do it. Is that okay with everybody? Okay. So I'll go to my courses.
Okay. Boleh.
Thank you. All right. So thank you to Calm. I've asked them to do one demo page for me. So as usual, if you scroll down to my courses up here, you will see all of your course. So this is the demo one that I asked Calm to do. So by default, when you get your course, this is the thing that you'll see, right? Topic 1, topic 2, topic 3, or week 1, week 2, it's up to you. But the problem with this is that because it's scrolling, if you have a lot of information, you'll be scrolling until the end of time. Sampai lunchtime you scrolling pun masih belum jumpa lagi link. So that is hard. So if it's hard for you to use, imagine your students. They have so many classes they have to manage. So it will be hard for your students as well. So how do you do the format that I did? Easy. So you go to this gear icon here. Okay, and then go to edit settings. Yeah, scroll down It's actually quite simple. And then you will see this course format. Okay. There is a lot of other formats that you can actually explore. Okay. I've tried most of them. Some of them I don't understand, unfortunately. I'm not an eLEAP expert, so if we have anyone that can explain better, please do, yeah. But for me, the best thing is tiles. And that's what I use for my eLEAP page. So once you click on this, okay, and then you can change the icon or you can change the color. For example, let's go for purple. And then I say save and display. And then you will see your page turn into similar to what I did, okay? So let's just do a header. I'm just going to do a quick demo of the header that I do, okay? So go to Canva and do your presentation slide as usual. This is a demo that I did. This is an example, sorry, not demo, an example that I did. So to make it more interesting, I want some kind of moving parts because saya ni kadang-kadang ada ADHD sikit. I want to see something moving, then it's interesting. So let's find a nice GIF. You can just search anything like lines, or magic, or like for example girl, and then you will see a lot of animation there. So for example, let's say I like this one. Okay, for me this one looks nice. Okay, it's simple enough. Then again, this is a good tip as well. Don't put too much moving things. This is unnecessary actually, but this is something that I like to do because we are designers. I like to see things pretty, right? So this is something I do, but don't put too much because it will take a lot of time to load. So this is sometimes not good for students. So I keep it very minimal. So even you can do your second page like this, every class, every Monday. Okay, so it's quite simple. So then I go to the three dots, top right, and I look for embed. I go for the embed button, I click on it, and then I just copy this part. Tekan banyak-banyak because kadang-kadang it doesn't copy. Go back to my page, turn editing on. And then what I like to do is I want that to be the first thing the students see. So I'm just going to put there. Lana. Edit setting. Sorry, not this one. Not announcement. Here. Okay. So go to this embed button. Click on it. If you see an alien language, you're correct. Okay, you're in the right place. So make sure you see this alien language, and then all you do is copy paste what you copied. Okay, and then you can see it's already loading there. So I don't like this part usually. So I'll just delete this. Designer things lah, I guess. Very particular about all the small things, right? Then I like to make it centralized, in the center, sorry. And then I save, and then there you go. You have a very cool looking ellipse page already. So when your students go in and they're like, okay, I know this is Miss Natasha's class, yeah? And then for the tile, it's exactly the same thing. Now, when you go into edit mode, it will look like the weekly topic format. So you have to scroll down. But later on, once you stop editing, it will go back to the tile format. So this one sama macam your weekly. Now, if you notice, my tiles have color. I color code them. So I'm going to teach you how to do that. All you have to do is click on the icon. See, it will say pick new icon or background photo. So let's say I pick here, then you can choose all of the different icon. So for example, if you want submission, you can find something like pen and paper. If you want learning unit, maybe you can find this like a book or address book, or maybe this book. Yeah, better. Presentation can be a camera, so it's up to you. If you like icons, you can use this. I prefer to use color. So you can upload your own photo as well. So let me try upload. You probably won't be able to see, but this one you can just drag your photo. So I'm just going to drag one photo in, yeah. Let me load it. Okay. All right. So I've uploaded mine. Just drag saja. Just open your folder in your computer and just drag it in. Instantly, if you see the name there, you're correct. Then just save changes. Okay. And then it will say that image save for tile 1. So if you scroll down, you'll see your tile has already changed. So let me just show tile. Okay. And then turn editing off, and then you can see your ellipse page more or less look like this already. So it's fun to use, and it's easy for you to keep track. Yeah. Okay. So how do you edit the tiles is exactly how you edit in the weekly format as well. You can change the title, you can change what's inside, you can put your whatever you need to, basically. So with this format, it's actually very easy to track. And I do suggest making it fun for your students. This semester I am in, my course has always been, the philosophy is to have fun while learning. So my course, I actually make it really fun. I'm going to prank my student this semester. If you all are into this, you guys can join me in pranking my students. So what I do, this is a very practical class. So technically there is no exam, but I'm going to put one exam here. And then when they click on it, it's a Rick Roll video. So I just want to prank them, make them have fun later on. So things like this will make it more memorable for your student, you know, and it will make them feel like, oh, okay, it's not too painful, this online learning. So just make it a bit more fun for your student. So I think that's all that I will share. I think I took too much time. I'm sorry to the next speaker, to the rest of the speaker. But yeah, I think I'll take questions at the end of the session later. Okay. So that's all from me. Thank you very much, guys, for your time.
Okay, thank you, Miss Natasha. A very good sharing session lah bagi saya kan.
Yeah,
Saya sendiri.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right. Sorry, tadi berapa size template tadi ya? The width.
Template you mean for the tile juga?
Yeah, from the Canva.
Oh, for the Canva, it's just standard presentation. If you go to Canva, just click on the presentation. That's it. You can use Facebook panel also. If you don't want it to be that big, like mine, I prefer it big like that. But if you don't want, you want it to be a bit more, you know, how to say, nipis, then you can just use Facebook cover. So the size actually doesn't really matter.
Presentation of Facebook cover.
Yeah. Banner itu juga boleh juga.
Okay, Cik Tuan.
Okay.
Okay, mungkin kita boleh simpan soalan untuk sesi terakhir lah boleh Okay, thank you Miss Natasha atas perkongsian tadi, sangat bermanfaat. Di mana ada keys, ada grouping, lepas tu eLEAP transformation tadi. Saya sendiri pun terkejut juga. Okay, jadi kita akan buat lepas ni lah. Okay, seterusnya adalah perkongsian daripada Mr. Yao. Mr. Yao, are you ready, Mr. Yao?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Yao. The stage is yours.
All right, thank you, Amir, and thank you, Natasha, for the sharing session. So basically, I'm going to cover what are the simple online tools that I have been using for teaching and learning process. I would like to start with these. These are the tools that I'm going to cover. So basically, I will be covering UCLAP, Mentimeters, Padlet, board, and quizzes and quiz. And some of the tools actually available on eLEAP, but I will touch on that and why, and I use certain tools instead of that particular tools. Okay, so there is more on comparison that I want to go through with you, and so that you know why I use certain tool and why I don't use certain tool. So these are simple tools that I use to engage my students either during the class or outside the class activities. Okay. To go forward, so there's the first two that I'm going to cover on. The first one is UCLAP and Mentimeters. Both are actually good for students to answer simple questions, to run short survey, to select topics of presentation, or even to summarize what they had learned in that particular class. For me, the former one is better integrated. I love UCLAP more than Mentimeter. Now I'm going to show you why. Okay, Mentimeter is something like this, that if you were to run your class and you want to start your class, or even just in the middle of your class, you want to ask some question to your student that you want them to respond to you online, even during physical class, which you can also apply, you can do something like this. You can have a question ready, already inserted the question inside Mentimeter, and then you can screen it to your student and ask them to respond to you. For example, either you want to ask them to use QR code, or you can use the copy link. All right. So what I don't like about it, and which make me prefer UCLAP, was it allowed me to directly embed my PowerPoint presentation. So now you're seeing my UCLAP. If you can see the screen, can you see UCLAP there? Okay. Currently, I'm using UCLAP. So what I'm doing is, this is my slides. In the middle of the teaching, I already wanted my student to participate in my activities. So I have directly one QR code there, or the link over there, which I can copy and put inside the chat box for my students to go into my UCLAP. So what I'm doing using UCLAP is I can directly interact with my students without having me to, change to, okay, can you all use this code and come to this link and put in this code? It's very mafan for them. So I love UCLAP for the reason is it has this QR directly for me, and I can edit this according to my class. So I know if I were to teach film history, so FH week number 6, FHW6, so I can code it according to my class per se. Most of the time, students already accustomed to this, they know, and they can predict what kind of link I'm going to use for that particular week. So sometimes they already come in by themselves without having me to review what kind of link that I'm going to use for the particular week. All right, so this is what I do. So I can directly interact with them. For example, if I want them to tell me and what they understand about each of the terminologies. Normally before class, I will have activities with them. I will make sure they go through certain activities. It's just like a flipped class activities, which I want them to study certain things first before they come to my physical class or online class. So when the class is ongoing, I will come out with certain things like this, for example, activities or quiz or pop quiz like this, and I ask them to answer certain questions. So it's when they are already in WooClap, here, they scan the QR, they use their phone or they use their link on their laptop, they are already here and they can start answering questions. And then I will review with them what are the results. So can you imagine why am I using WooClap now instead of Mentimeter? Tahu kan? Kenapa kan? Okay, so the very reason because it's very well integrated, it's very easy to use. And I can integrate my PowerPoint. So this is my PowerPoint actually. So I can teach, like, okay. This PowerPoint was generated using Canva. So after that, I just import the PowerPoint as PDF in my WooClap. Okay, then I can have interaction with my students. I can have quiz with my student in the middle of the class. And it's only in one page, WooClap, without me having to go through so many other things. Okay, I will show you what I did with this. So this is my WooClap page. I just need to upload one slide here. So I already insert my slide. So this is my slide. I just need to upload my PDF file here. So I just need to export my Canva or my any PowerPoints or things and then put it as PDF, upload here, and then I can insert question. For free version, I can only use 2 questions. Only can give 2 questions. So please use it wisely. I find that a lot of people love to ask so unrelated questions, like how are you today? Happy, not happy. For me, yes, but yeah, you know, teaching and learning, you can do something like that, but you just need to save your time for better things, for example. But yeah, that's your thinking behind. All right, so that is my WooClap. Okay, yeah, continue. So I also do some hypothetical questions where I want my student to think, what if kind of question. So let's say, should you are Hollywood Studios owner, what would you do to boost an ailing industry? So these are what the things that you can do with your students. And another things that I always do is, I will show you another WooClap. Oh, oops, sorry. Lockout. Which I'm using it for class flashback. So you can see I have been using it for like the past 66 classes already. So one of the class that I used was French impression leader. Okay, I asked them to let me know what they think about my class. So you can, this is what I do with my students. So I will ask them what they think about my class, and they will, you know, grab for me. And then I will ask them, why do you think that is lower and why that is high? And I will, you know, get response from them. And most of the time, students like it because it's anonymous. They don't need to reveal their name. So I don't know who they are actually to answer this. So it's very interactive and they are happy to let me know what they think. So that is what I do with my WooClap. Okay, we are done with WooClap. Are you okay? Molika, can you give me some response?
Okay, Mr. Chong. Okay.
All right, cool, thank you. So that's what I do with my first 2, Mentimeter versus WooClap, which I love WooClap better. All right, I will go into my second tools now, which is Padlet and Board. I think Natasha had mentioned briefly about what she did with her Padlet, which I'm going to let you know now. And I'm going to do a brief comparison with Board, which is actually available on eLEAP, told by Dr. Terry. All this way, I don't know if there is a tool called Board. But after I explore, I still like Padlet far better than Board. I will tell you why also now. Okay, I will show you my Board, which I was testing on my eLEAP. Like for example, you can go to this, and I was, you know, trying to use doing a board. So you can come into activity. You can choose board, B-O-A-R-D. So you can see that, right? So that board is actually something very similar to Padlet. So I already created one. So you can see here, there was my testing one. So it looks like a bit of Padlet, right? But what I don't like about it, it looks very dummy. Okay, that's my first impression of it. So you can actually do some setting. For example, you can change the color. Board setting. These are the color codes that I use, which I refer to these like HTML color code. You can just Google it and you can get all this kind of code number. So let's say you love particular colors and you want to change it to that color, because currently I'm using these gray, like silver gray color, but you can change it to other colors that you prefer. Okay, it's up to you. So then you will get this, and you will get all the heading. You can do update it accordingly, all these kind of things. But I don't like board comparison to Padlet was. I think Padlet is far easier for me to use, and I always start with doing a template first. What I do with my template is, which I'm going to show you now. So every semester, whenever I use Padlet, I will create a template which is very easy for me to do my evaluation in the coming future, where I will do one template with all the student names and also their matrix number. So you can see that's for the past semester. So I created this template, which I'm going to reuse in the next class. Let's say the next class I need them to do Padlet activities. I will just need to remake again. Okay, so remake. I just need to change my part for guiding question and also my sample of answers. So it's very easy for me to use this way, which I don't think I can do it on board. And the interactiveness of it, the beauty of it, I think the aesthetics of it, which I prefer Padlet more than board. Okay, so come back here. What I want to share about Padlet is not about this function, but it's about the thinking of activity designs for Padlet. Okay, so every time whenever I have certain activities that I want students to do before my class, because I want them to watch movies, to watch certain films, before they come to my class, it's like a more of a flipped classroom. They do certain activities before they come to my class so that they know what I'm going to talk about. Let's say I want to teach them about certain film history of a certain era. If they don't watch the film, they don't know what am I going to talk about, right? So if they're a puzzle or whatever. So normally I will have guiding question for them. I will let them watch certain movie first, then only I will let them do. Okay, so for the first example, I will share with them link of films that I want them to watch. And after watching it, I will have guided question for them to answer. Then they will answer it on Padlet. So I compile everything on Padlet. If they want to come directly to my Padlet, it's still okay because my guiding question is also here. They can still look into it. And then they will have question to answer. And then I will let them know when they need to submit. They have to do it without plagiarism, when to submit it, for example. And then I will give them a sample of answer at the right-hand side, what they are going to do. Then they will start doing it by themselves. So as a practice, when students get used to what am I doing with them, they already get used to what to do. So they are kind of like very used to doing it already. So the challenging part of it is when you have a lot of students, more than 100, more than 50, it's very hard for you to do one by one. But if your students are less than 50, I think you can do, and you can make it as a template that you are going to use it every week if you want to. It's up to you. And already mentioned by Natasha, do remember to mark it as activity on your eLEAP, because that will make it easier for the auditor to check on it later. I'll show you my example. I'm using the weekly format instead of the tile format. So now I will embed it over here. Then I will make sure I have this. Put a link there as well. Then I'll put activity at front. So every time the auditor come in, they will know, okay, this activity. So they will know that then they can put 1 mark for me. Okay, activity 1, for instance. And let's say I have slides, I will make sure I put slides. So whenever I start with anything, I will put something like this. The kurungan inside I have what I will let my student know what is it about. It's a slide, it's what to watch, or it's an activity that I then need to complete. So that is it. Okay, so we are done with 2 tools. All right, so we'll talk about Google Mentimeters, Padlet, and board. And lastly, I would like to cover quizzes and quiz. Comparatively, quiz and quizzes, both of them offer you to do things like you want to create quiz or MCQ, fill in the blanks, or short or long answers. But I love the former one better. because it's more easier to maneuver, it's more interactive, and it can let you do live or asynchronous quiz. Live or asynchronous quiz, like if you were to do it live, is something like Kahoot. I believe you know Kahoot and you have been using Kahoot before, but Kahoot is very hard to do, particularly when you're doing online class, because there are students without internet connections or they are poor internet connection. So normally I don't do live Kahoot, particularly those with marks. If it is only some simple activity without marks, it's fine. But if it's something with marks, I wouldn't recommend you to do something which is live. Do asynchronously. Okay, so quizzes and quiz, I prefer it more because, for example, I've taught one class for soft skill. I do this for their quiz. I just need to key in my question. I can create, I can put in questions and put a correct answers, and the student will go through the process, then they will answer it. So many type of questions you can create through these, and then you can assign it as homework, which they can do anytime they want before your set deadline. Or you can do it live quiz in the class. It's up to you. Okay, so then you can share with your students. So basically, that is the tools that I use for simple tools that I use. I don't like quiz on eLEAP because it's very, very troublesome. I've been trying using it for many other times, but I find it, I still can use it, but I don't like it at all because for me it's very troublesome to use. And that's why I love this, something which is external for these quizzes. Okay, you can explore it here. Good. I'll show you my other questions. For example, I was doing like a revision quiz with my students. You can even insert pictures. So for example, which of the following films are associated with Soviet montage? So students somehow should have that memory of certain films they have watched. Then yeah, so I can even insert images. No need to all words all this while. Yeah, so yeah, you can explore by yourself. So basically, I was trying to cover most of the items that I use, and not inside my slides, but I want to cover these. This is what I do with my assessment. I will create one Microsoft form for my student to submit their form, submit their assignments. So this form will be my template, which I'm going to use for many other class, particularly the final assessment. Because if you know there is one form which is students integrity, integration, these kind of things, like integrity declaration. So I will make sure I will do it with my students, so they are aware that they will be punished if they were not honest, if they do any plagiarism or do anything. So they will need to go through this, they will click yes, and then they will put in their information and their link to the submitted assignments. Either it's a documentary project, it's a YouTube link, it's an e-portfolio, a Canva or whatever link that I'm going to submit. And if they were too late for submission, they will let me know why were they late for the submission, then they will submit. So that's the template that I have been using that I can actually reuse it for many other classes. Okay, so I guess that's all. But very importantly, what I'm trying to say is it is not about doing activity for activity's sake. We are lecturers. A lot of time we were forced to do activity because we need to fulfill blended learning requirement. But please revisit your CLO and why do you need to do that particular activities. Okay, otherwise you are doing it for activity's sake. The thoughts, process, and intention designing your activity inside or outside of your class is very vital in this sense. Okay, so I guess that's all for now. I wish you a very wonderful semester ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Yao. Very good and helpful sharing session, and short and firm, Mr. Chong.
Yeah, short. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Mr. Yao. Okay, we will put a question after this Mr. Azri session.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Azri, are you ready? Mr. Azri?
Yes. Boleh dengar. Can you hear me, Amir?
Boleh. Loud and clear.
Alright. Good. Okay. So Assalamualaikum. Very good morning to all. First of all, I would like to thank Amir for inviting me. Rasa takut, rasa malu pula tengok eLEAP power kan masing-masing. Alhamdulillah. So today I will actually what I'm going to share is more on how to make your eLEAP interactive. But after looking at Natasha's eLEAP, I actually prepared my my eLEAP last night just to show it to you guys. But when Natasha did told us about that kind, I want to share you guys while I'm waiting Yao's talk and waiting for Natasha to finish. I just change it into that style and it's very easy to use. Yes, okay. So actually, wait, give me a second. I want to share my slide just a little bit. Boleh nampak ke?
Boleh, tapi kena full screen kot.
Ya. Ini.
Okay, cantik.
Okay. So title yang Amir give to me is making your eLEAP course page more interactive, which is continuity ataupun extension daripada what Natasha share just now. So actually we have a very similar style, whereas we divide is not according to week, but based on the it depends on you lah. It depends on what class you teach. Some class maybe you need to structure it according to your class. But today the goals for our Byte session today, right? So first to structure your eLEAP, which is Natasha already shared just now, and second is to use to enhance your Canva skill. Macam saya, for me, I'm not the designer, right? I'm very bad at it, and thanks God there's a Canva apps really helped me mewarnai ataupun coloring my eLEAP and makes me look like a very professional designer. All right, so Canva and eLEAP, which is also Natasha already shared, and maybe this is the new one. Maybe some of you have heard, and maybe some of you have used of this apps, which is Edpuzzle. This is another app that I discovered during my my class, which is I will share to you guys what Edpuzzle is all about. And because Natasha already share a lot about how to structure your eLEAP and how to use Canva and eLEAP, so I will focus on how to use Edpuzzle, or why Edpuzzle can help you a lot in terms of teaching and learning. All right. So yes, this is how I structure my eLEAP. I will divide my eLEAP into announcements, activities, assignments, slide, video, reference, and class recording. It's very similar to Natasha, and it's actually what I already did it, but I didn't know that we can do it in a tile mode like Natasha just shared. So what I want to share, this is my eLEAP before this. Nampak tak, May? Can you see this?
Oh, nampak.
So this is my eLEAP before. This is a new class. So, but after Natasha shared just now, and I just turn it into this. You see, this very new. So I just turn it into tile just a moment ago. So yeah, I don't think it takes a lot of time. It's just just know where to click and do that. Maybe we can have a good and very refreshing eLEAP for our student lah. So I already do what Natasha ajar saya, teach me just now. So thank you, Natasha. So and there's a add-on in my eLEAP. The rest is very similar to Natasha or Yan. But what I add on, I always do in my eLEAP, because in drama and theatre department, we always watch and make our student to watch a video, to learn, because especially during pandemic, there is no production, and we didn't manage to ask the student to go and watch a real or a play, a production. So what we did, we always ask them to watch a video. So the problem with video is we never know that are they really look, or are they really watching into it, or are they really finish watching the video that we share. For us, but especially in drama and theatre department, they need to watch the whole play. Okay, there's no excuse. They need to watch everything, because end up we will ask them in class, what do you think about the play, and everything lah about the play. So what I add on in my eLEAP, I have my own channel. So see down below here in the yellow, I just change it based on Natasha style. Okay, so I put my own channel, which I name it GKD Tutorial TV. So when student hit in this button, others will be a lot of video that I use in class. Okay, so this is all the videos that that related to the class lah. But how and did the student or do the student watch this video? We never know, right? We never know, are they watching it? Are they just play it while they're doing something, just leave it open? So we never know. But what I discovered, there's one, let me show you. This is another video. This is just for example, this is not for the class, right? So this is another video from YouTube that I for instance, if I use this for my class, all right? So can I play it, Amir? I don't know if I
boleh.
if the sound will go through or not. Let me try it. So I want to play this at puzzle here, and you can put another question over there. So it depends on you how many questions do you want. It can be a multiple choice question. It can be another type of question lah. There's a lot. So this is Edpuzzle. What Edpuzzle can do is it will you can use this as a as an app to track your student. Are they watching the video? Okay, to make this video, it's not just watching and you just throw it away, right? Just throw it there, put it there. We didn't know are the student watching it. So this is how we can do or what we can do, and we can track them, especially how many students already watched it, how many students do answer the question, and stuff like that. So how to do this? So how to do Edpuzzle? Just go to edpuzzle.com. All right, and just register using your Microsoft or Google account, and then you will get this interface, and just add content. So what is the best thing about Edpuzzle is you can use a video from YouTube. All right, let's go to YouTube. For instance, we can find video, maybe TED Talk. Let's find TED Talk. So maybe look for video like maybe 5 to 6, not more than 10 minutes, right? Maybe this one. All right. So how we just get the link, copy the link here, and bring it back to Edpuzzle, and paste the YouTube link here, and hit search button, and now you have the video ready for you. All right, and then another thing that you can do here is you can add on your voice, all right, and also a question. So let's do the question part first. All right, so this is the question part. So just play the video, maybe somewhere in this video, somewhere in 24 or 26 seconds, you want to ask question. So just, there is a option up here. You can choose a multiple choice question, and you just can type a question here. For example, what color is the background? This is what, all right. And you can type a choice, yellow, all right, yellow, blue, and maybe you want to add another choice answer, red. So, and then we just put this, click on this, and save it. Now you will have that question ready at 28 seconds of the video. So you also can add on your notes. All right. For instance,
doctors made their verdict. Some treats.
For example, at this moment, 1 minute of the video, you want to add on your notes. So here you can add on your notes. All right, you write something, or you can record your audio, record your voice here. Right, let's do something. All right, this is a testing record. This is video about ancient age. All right, so you put it there. So and save it. All right, you need a good Wi-Fi connection to do this. All right, and then it will be somewhere around there. So when your student browsing or watching the video, it will stop at this dot at this particular moment, at this particular second, and they need to hear or they need to read your notes. All right, and stop over there, and you stop, and they need to hear. All right, this is a testing record. This is video, and it depend on you lah. What you want to put it on, like you want to write it or you want to just talk or speak. It depends on you. All right. So and also you can cut if you think that this video is too long, 4 minutes, and but you just want to use it like 2 minutes. So just put the cut button here, and just you just can drag it, drag the video and cut it up to here. Depends lah. Right. So so that's and how and when it's already your, like for instance it's already finished, and how we want to put this in, put the finish, hit the finish button, and how to share this in eLEAP. So you will get you can find this 3 dot, share preview. All right, you either can embed this in eLEAP, all right, or just get a link. So I usually embed this in eLEAP. All right, so you can get this code, like size, copy link, and we go to our eLEAP. So we want to add a new, let's turn on the editing mode. Go to the TV. Oh no. All right, add activity or resource. Usually what I do is I just get a label, and like Natasha did, just copy it over there and save it, and your video is ready in eLEAP, and student can watch it and do the activity lah. So and another thing, if you don't want this to use, if you don't want to use this as eLEAP activities, you want to use this, for instance, you want to do this in class, all right? For what you can do as well is you can do this as a live session, you know. For instance, this and open. So live mode, they have a live mode here. So live mode, your student you need to share this screen to a student, and your student need to enroll, and you can do a live mode, you know. So that's another. So this is a class code, and they ask your student to go to add puzzle, and they can enroll, and we can do the live mode. Exact same video, and you can use the video as your, instead of using a slide, maybe you can use this video, or maybe you can use add puzzle as another option instead of having a slide. Or but the thing is, you need to prepare this add puzzle by yourself beforehand lah. But it's very easy setup. All right. So for me, I think that's the apps or sharing session that I want to share to you guys. So maybe we can go to question and answer after this. So I give it back to you, Amir. Over to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Azri, for the sharing. And I think sharing session today is interrelated each other, which is what Miss Natasha share, Mr. Azri terus buat, which is very fast lah kan. Kita nampak memang interrelated. Jadi ini mengubah secara automatik, mengubah kita punya persepsi about eLEAP. Jadi bear in mind, eLEAP ni bukan untuk pertandingan, bukan pertandingan. Ia adalah untuk memudahkan pelajar kita untuk akses kelas kita dan untuk memahami apa yang kita cuba sampaikan. Okay, Terima kasih kepada kita punya our panel, our speakers. Jadi I open a question untuk semua pensyarah yang hadir pada hari ini untuk bertanyakan soalan kepada panel kita. Sekiranya ada soalan kepada Miss Natasha, Mr. Chong dan Mr. Azri, boleh bercakap terus ataupun di dalam ruangan chat. Jadi saya buka ruangan untuk soalan, boleh?
Please feel free to explore other format juga. We have the buttons format is actually quite nice as well, especially if you're doing short courses. Ada apa tu soft courses ada juga format that is actually quite nice as well. If you don't have too much learning unit, that is actually quite nice to use. Sebab tiles ni, if you have a lot of learning unit, then it will be beneficial. Kalau tak banyak sangat, can just use the button. The button format is actually quite nice juga. So feel free to explore lah.
Alright.
Or maybe I can share yang ni sekejap ya. Just to, I forgot to mention about ni tadi. Apologies for taking a bit more time. But actually Calm has uploaded a lot of resources for lecturers to check whether their courses or their pages are set up correctly. So just go to my courses and then you can see eLEAP guide for course instructors. So just click here and then you will see everything that you need to know here, especially for new lecturers ataupun lecturer yang masih keliru, like how do I actually achieve this blended status. Just go here, all the guides is here, and then one of it you will see a checklist. So when I first started out, this was the checklist that I downloaded, and then this is the checklist that I always check. So contohnya course outline, course learning outcomes, hypnosis semua ada ke? Then if ada, I put how many there, and then yeah, it's just like a form that you fill in. This is a bit leceh when you first begin, but it's just for you to get used to it. And then now you know what actually comes one or what you need to hit in order to get that blended status. And then this is now at the back of my mind already. I tak perlu lagi check this checklist. So this checklist is actually available in this resource page lah. So that's a good way of just making sure that you hit it, yeah. And one more thing that I like to mention is that the embedded one, when you embed here just now, say for example you want to change something, like I said you want to update something, all you have to do is just go to your Canva, update it here. So for example, let's say I want to delete this part and then I want to change this to classroom.
Sorry, just one thing Natasha. Tadi you mention about apa ni checklist by siapa nama? Ialah the author ataupun yang account lah kan,
okay,
untuk to ensure all those lecturer kan dia comply to those things yang diperlukan untuk untuk achieve blended learning ni. So normally dia orang buat ni manually ke atau macam mana to check on all those thing yang need to be complied to the blended learning ni.
Okay. How do they actually evaluate your course, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so
adakah ada I'm not sure lah. They have any system yang probably automatic because of for example like macam lecturer kan kadang-kadang tu every end of the semester ataupun tengah semester tu ada reminder beritahu yalah normally daripada Amir lah kan beritahu kita okay this kursus belum cukup lagi. so tak ada ke automatically lecturer kan dia tahu kan okay by automatic dia tahu sama ada content ataupun dia punya aktiviti dalam eLEAP sendiri dah pun comply to the needs of blended learning tadi tu.
Okay, faham. So I think it is actually both methods. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Amir, I'm not quite sure. But from my past experience, they do have an automated or like a automatic checking system. Tapi yang tu hanya boleh check untuk eLEAP saja. So whatever tools they have on eLEAP, that is what is counted. So anything extra than that, that's why we need the labeling, because that's when the manual auditors, they have to check it manually. That's what I mean. So if you don't have enough of the eLEAP tools, you need to label your outside tools, the one that is not in eLEAP. That's how they make sure that you achieve it. So yeah, if anything, the best practice for me has always been labeling. Like a few times already, actually every of my semester selalu tak hit. I usually don't hit my blended learning status. So what happens is that at the end of the semester, like for example, my activity, usually I guna Padlet. So I'll show you my final year project student. So this is the final year eLEAP page that I set up last semester. So dia guna Padlet lah sini. So instead of the Canva, I actually embed Padlet dekat the banner. And then using tiles format also. And then most of them are using Padlet as well. So it doesn't use forum or any eLEAP tools. So what happens is that I didn't hit the blended learning status. In that case, all I needed to do is just take a screenshot and just email it to COM, and then instantly they will count it. So unfortunately, yes, there is that manual aspect to it as well. So betul ke, Mr. Amir? I'm not so sure as well.
Betul.
Betul lah? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's both ways. Yeah. So Dr. Wan, I hope I answered your question.
It's okay je. No, I just wondering kalau katakan yalah sometimes kita tak nak hassle kan, nak check by automatic dia akan give the checklist tu sendiri kan, whether we hit atau tak kan. Tapi sometimes macam you cakap tadi tu, kalau you use other platform than eLEAP yang built by CAP tadi tu, mungkin they have to count manually.
Yes.
So itulah kadang-kadang tu mungkin some of lecturer tu dia dah fulfill, tetapi because of that dia masih lagi red kan.
Yes, betul. I face it so many times, and that's why I think it's important to group it by grouping. So contohnya kalau assessment, I terang-terang senang letak assessment, then dia orang boleh tengok dah 4. Even though I put Padlet in the assessment, then they know that Padlet is for the assessment. So if you use it by grouping, senang untuk auditor tengok jugalah nanti.
Yeah, for me so far no problem lah, because of I'm used to the eLEAP system. So tapi yalah kadang-kadang tu kan tertanya juga kan whether dah cukup ke tak cukup kan. For example like assessment kan, walaupun dia cakap assessment tu nak 2 ke nak 3 kan, tapi ya tapi sometimes bila you put in eLEAP tu whatever yang you the thing that you use, katakan dalam eLEAP tu ada assessment, so actually dia consider sebagai assessment lah kan, unless you use different platform to do the assessment, so they have to manually count macam tu.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just make sure you label sana terang-terang assessment, then the outside tool tadi, then should be no problem.
Tak adalah itu sajalah. Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you Dr. Wan soalan tu. Jadi saya masing-masing buka untuk pertanyaan terutamanya untuk pensyarah-pensyarah baru ni termasuk saya sendirilah. Pensyarah baru Mr. Ezra, Miss Doris, Puan Dia Fadila. Rasanya dah tiada soalan ni. Okey, saya rasa kita boleh kesimpulan lah. Kita boleh buat kesimpulan tentang kita punya Byte-Size hari ni. Boleh. Jadi terima kasih kepada panel ataupun penceramah jemputan kita yang awesome, di mana dia telah membuka mata kita semualah. Bagi saya sendiri, di mana eLEAP tu menjadi satu platform yang bukan menyusahkan, dia menjadi platform yang memudahkan kita lagi. Di mana tiles format ni saya rasa agak mind blowing juga lah for me. Dia sesuatu yang baru, ketara betul lah kan, tidak explore eLEAP. Even I'm the eLEAP coordinator, jadi my bad, maafkan saya. Okey, jadi apa yang saya boleh simpulkan adalah hopefully dengan perkongsian daripada all of panel hari ini dapat mencapai kita punya status blended learning at least 100% untuk semester ni, at least lah 100%. Dan kalau boleh apa yang kita sampaikan atau apa yang kita letak dalam informasi dalam eLEAP kita tu adalah berkaitan, sama ada resources tu semua ada kaitan dalam pembelajaran kita punya aktiviti, make sure aktiviti tu berkaitan lah. Dan juga assessment, jangan lupa assessment ni adalah part yang selalu termiss juga, dan make sure assessment tu diatur dengan baik. Okay. Jadi bagi saya tak ada apa-apa lagi. Okay, bye.
Thank you everyone for your time. Thank you.
Thanks all.
Thank you.